Local 5 News presents Wisconsin's Hidden History. Sponsored by Janssen Dental Clinic.
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for our Wisconsin Hidden History Special. I'm Erin Davison.
And I'm Tom Zalaski. February marks Black History Month.
And Local 5 is celebrating influential African Americans such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who made an impact throughout the course of history, including right here in Northeast Wisconsin.
On the show today, we will take a closer look at 4 African American icons in our area who have gone above and beyond to impact their communities. We will also look at Black History Month celebrations and events that took place at local schools. And we'll check out some special exhibits honoring historical African Americans. First, though, we start in our state capitol, where state leaders gathered at the beginning of the month to honor Black History Month.
As the Legislative Black Caucus gathered at the Capitol, Black lawmakers criticized Republican Scott Allen for not consulting with them before putting his resolution forward, which honors white abolitionists and 4 former slaves. The state's first Black Lieutenant Governor, Mandela Barnes, was on hand to talk about the contributions of Black leaders in Wisconsin.
It's with the spirit of those before us all that we all should be motivated to continue to work as organizers, as legislators, to serve in any capacity, in any office. We know no limits because of the people who were before us, who faced way more adversity than we faced. And while we've come so far, being better than we were yesterday is not good enough for tomorrow.
This marks the 3rd straight year the parties have clashed over who to recognize during Black History Month. Last year, the GOP rejected an attempt to include Wisconsin-born Colin Kaepernick in a resolution.
As we continue on all month long, Local 5 is featuring 4 African Americans in our community who go above and beyond to make a difference. And we now introduce you to our first African American icon in Dr. Sabrina Robbins. She's a leader, mother, educator, and most of all, a go-getter. Local 5's Robin Oginye sat down with her to find out what makes her iconic.
I wouldn't say I'm an icon. I would call myself someone who likes to work with others to bring about a shared vision or solve a common community problem.
A problem solver and an overachiever, Sabrina Robbins moved to Appleton years ago to work for Kimberly-Clark. Her work away from work includes getting people jobs and teaching potential employers how to hire a diverse workforce through her occasional unconscious bias trainings here at St. Norbert College.
Part of the organizing, so with African Heritage. Most of what I do is centered around making opportunities for those that are overlooked, misunderstood. Somehow they're made to feel that they're not fully welcomed and that their voice is not important.
Sabrina's resume spans decades. She's been a Girl Scout troop leader, works closely with the League of Women Voters. She's headed several Youth Leader Institute programs, and she's a proud member of African American Heritage, Inc., a group that promotes Black cultural events in Appleton.
We still have a number of community members that have never interacted or seen African Americans. So to see us as fully functional citizens and participatory in the community and engaging in civic activities helps them to gain a better understanding of who we may be.
Despite the awards she's won for her efforts and the people she's worked with, there's still more Sabrina wants to do. She has future plans to tackle poverty in Appleton. But this Black History Month, she wants to focus on moving the African American community forward while remembering history through self-evaluation.
What can I do to help make life better for African Americans? Can I speak up more? Can I do something to support more? We need more people involved to ensure the safety and livelihood of African Americans.
In Appleton, Robin Oginye, Local 5 News.
Thank you, Robin. African American Heritage, Inc. is holding its 22nd annual Black History program in Appleton tomorrow.
For details, visit our website, wearegreenbay.com. Well, throughout the month, schools in Northeast Wisconsin have been hosting special Black History Month events.
Coming up next, we take you to Webster Stanley Elementary as they held their first Read Your Heart Out event that focused on diversity through the use of literacy. But first, Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech was one of the most iconic speeches in American history. And Local 5 asked local leaders throughout our community to read part of the speech that impacted them.
When we allow freedom to reign, when we let it rain from every city and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, great God Almighty, we are free at last.
I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Welcome back. As we continue with our special, we take a look at what schools throughout Northeast Wisconsin are doing to celebrate Black History Month.
In Oshkosh, Webster Stanley Elementary students focused on diversity, literacy, and family engagement during their first Read Your Hearts Out event. Kids were told about the struggles of blacks and reminded of their own ability to overcome challenges through affirmation. In addition, students were taught black culture through stories written by African American authors and read by influential black community leaders.
We now introduce you to our second African-American icon who is a cultural advisor for Appleton area schools. He's made a career out of connecting with students and pushing them to become better people. Local 5's John Dummel introduces us to Kempton Freeman.
Even though we don't have the same traumas and we don't come from the same backgrounds, that hey, it's similar situations that I've been through, and I can hopefully help you because I've been through a similar type of situation.
Take it easy. If you ask Kempton Freeman, he'll tell you that he's just a regular person trying to make a difference the best way he can.
It's people that really care about you, want to invest in you, not just because you're in the school building, but because you are a human being and you deserve that dignity and respect.
Born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, Freeman moved to Wisconsin to attend Lakeland University and couldn't separate himself from helping students overcome mental hurdles as a cultural advisor.
Once they know that there's somebody that has been through a similar situation and they can see where you have been and where you are coming from and where you're going, then they can kind of translate that and do the things for themselves.
And the hallmark of any good mentor is having genuine care.
His best quality is his passion. Is his passion for what he does and the passion for who he is doing it for. The passion that he has to make sure that the youth within our community are getting the services that they need.
When it comes to setting students up for a more open-minded future, he goes back to a lesson that he learned in the past.
Represent your last name well and understand that with that last name came a lot of other people before me. So I always just make sure I put the best foot forward that way for him.
Here we go. His father passed away when he was 9, and that was enough time to influence Freeman to pursue a life helping others be more accepting of those around them.
Those lessons that he taught me, I still make sure that I embody those. And now that I teach those lessons to my son, it kind of comes full circle.
In Grand Chute, John Dommel, Local 5 News.
And Freeman has been working with Appleton area schools for 6 years. You can go online to our website at wearegreenbay.com to see more about Kempton Freeman.
The Appleton School District decided to honor the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in a special way back in January.
Coming up next, we show you the events that took place at the 2nd annual MLK Jr. Community Day of Service. But before we head to break, we continue with our local leaders' rendition of Dr. King's famous speech, "I Have a Dream."
I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal.
When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Martin Luther King Jr.'s influence spread throughout the country, including right here in northeast Wisconsin. During the start of the month, the Appleton School District decided to honor MLK with a march of their own.
It was during the second annual MLK Jr. Community Day of Service. The day began with a march as members of the community, along with some Appleton area students, walked from the front steps of Wilson Middle School to Appleton West High. Then they gathered in the auditorium, where special student cultural performances and inspirational messages honored the life and legacy of Dr. King.
You can have a dream for something and making that happen, being that impactful person just like he was. So with us honoring that, we wanted to show what we can become to impact our community.
Students and their families were also encouraged to take part in a variety of service opportunities taking place throughout the community.
As we continue to introduce you to African American icons throughout northeast Wisconsin, we meet Daisy Frazier, who is a Fond du Lac woman who's made a positive change in her life, including helping to start a group aimed at advocacy for minority groups. Local 5's Aaron Taylor sat down with Daisy to talk about making a difference in the community.
We love Fond du Lac. It has its challenges.
For Daisy Frazier, loving a community means helping it grow. That's the thought behind her nonprofit organization, Ebony Vision.
Ebony Vision was created for African Americans to have a voice in the community.
The initial goal of the group was a simple one.
It started, I believe, 12 years ago. And we've come a long way.
And over time, Ebony Vision's mission has evolved as it grows.
It's sort of like peeling an onion. The more you peel, the more you find out that there are concerns and issues, and you need to look at other things.
This Black History Month display at the Fond du Lac Public Library is a result of one of the group's community partnerships. And through a partnership with Fond du Lac Public Schools, Ebony Vision is also working to help out the younger generations.
First of all, it is needed. It is needed. It is needed.
The program provides mentors to boys in Fond du Lac schools, a demographic the group identified as one that was in need.
This disproportionate gap for African Americans and other students of color.
The program began to serve middle school age students, but has since expanded into elementary schools. Organizers hope that reaching students at a younger age will help shape their perspectives as they grow.
We want to fight and give them what they need to be productive adults in whatever community they live. And we just want to do our part.
Ebony Vision also reaches out to the community at large through events during Black History Month and throughout the year.
So we're just trying to do our part to bring awareness, teach others about our culture.
It's the kind of difference Daisy says anyone can make by paying attention and taking action.
Just look into your community and see where you can help.
That's what Ebony Vision is all about.
When you have the opportunity to volunteer into your community, do so.
In Fond du Lac, Aaron Taylor, Local 5 News.
Thank you, Aaron. And to learn more about Ebony Vision, head to our website at wearegreenbay.com.
The Underground Railroad is a big part of African American history because it offered shelter and aid to escaped slaves from the South.
Coming up next, we take a look at a Green Bay church's connection to the Underground Railroad.
There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright days of justice emerge.
And welcome back to our Wisconsin Hidden History Special. The city of Green Bay has launched a program that covers the rich history of the Underground Railroad.
As part of a new series entitled Stories from the Archives, which explores Green Bay's efforts regarding the Underground Railroad. Back in the 1850s, Green Bay's first Presbyterian church served as an Underground Railroad station for freedom seekers. And this case is unusual because there's actually documentation to prove it.
The woman who was married to the church minister at the time of two of the incidents was asked to write up the incidents 20 years later, and by that time emancipation had occurred. It was post-Civil War, and so she felt free to write about these activities.
Southern Wisconsin is also heavily known for its Underground Railroad services. You can find all of them on the Underground Network for Freedom webpage.
And now for our final African American icon this evening. We are proud to highlight Green Bay West boys basketball coach Jerry Overstreet. Local 5's Paul Evenson found out how Coach Overstreet uses his past to help shape his players' futures.
Jerry Overstreet has faced his share of challenges, both on and off the court.
Coming out of Racine, as some people know, it's a tough city. We had to make some tough choices at times, but sports always kept us out of that. Stay off the streets. Stay off the street.
For Jerry, sports was his sanctuary, and when a college injury left him on the sidelines, the Western Michigan star soon discovered another one of his life's passions.
That's when I kind of grasped the idea of I can use my voice to help kids, and if little kids are gravitating to me just because I'm this big 6-foot guy with big hands, that was great. So giving back to the kids came natural.
Did you see what he was doing? He said, you said turn around, and he was about to just turn around and look at it.
While injured, Jerry worked in a preschool, and that experience impacted him enough to spend the next quarter century investing into the lives of youth through mentoring, something he now offers his players and students at Green Bay West.
These are such formative years, and they're making some really important decisions about life, and to have someone there who is cheering them on and in their court, and who is always someone that they can go to talk about life decisions and girlfriend decisions and all of those. He's just invaluable. I mean, he is someone that will have lasting impact. In 10 years, a kid's going to be saying, I'm here because Jerry Overstreet had this conversation with me, because I knew him and because he had an impact on my life.
And that impact is already being felt by his players in only his second year as coach.
He challenged me to be better as a student athlete, as a person personally, and just strive for greatness.
The Wildcats are looking to improve from a tough 8-16 season last year. But if heart has anything to do with it, then Street, as his players call him, is giving this program plenty to build on.
I tell the families, one brick at a time and we'll build it. I didn't sign on to be one and done. So I'm gonna be here until they tell me, Street, you gotta go. And I hope that don't happen. I get to do it on my own. Do it on my own.
In Green Bay, Paul Evenson, Local 5 News.
Thank you, Paul. Coach Overstreet says one way he tries to teach his players is through the 3 E's, which stand for energy, effort, and engage. To see an extended interview with Coach Overstreet, head to our website, wearegreenbay.com.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. continues to be honored and remembered in many ways throughout the area.
And the Neville Public Museum in Green Bay is hosting a special exhibit during Black History Month that shows how our community remembers him. We'll take you there next. Welcome back. As we wrap up our Wisconsin Hidden History special, we take a look at a special exhibit in Green Bay that's honoring the life of Dr. Martin Luther King.
On the second floor of the museum, 23 pieces of student work in the form of posters, illustrations, poetry, and essays on display, brought to the Neville as part of the 25th anniversary of Appleton's Day of Community Service. The exhibit will be on display at the museum until March 1st. Thank you for joining us for Wisconsin's Hidden History.